Okay, so we're here at the boat ramp now, and we're gonna collect an E. coli sample and a microcystin sample. These shoreline samples are collected either at a boat ramp or at a swimming beach, and just at any point that someone might be recreating in the water. First, we're gonna fill out our labels before we get the bottles wet so that they stick better. So we put our initials, and that's everyone that's helping you sampling has to initial, just so we can track who was there. We put the time. What time is it?
Noon?
It is noon on April 12th. So we'll put that in, and then we fill out that same sample date, time, and initials on the data sheet form. So this one is the E. coli, so C is marked for E. coli and E. coli is checked. Label. Stick your label on the bottle. The E. coli bottles are sterile, so if this is broken, don't use it, get a different bottle. You always want to wear gloves to collect an E. coli sample. And we take our sample, walk out a little ways into the water. You can either wear boots or waders. And then if you've kicked up a lot of sediment like I did, wait for that to settle or reach out beyond it so you're not catching that in your sample. And we uncap the bottle, invert it, put it a half foot down, flip it back up and fill it, cap it again. And there's preservatives in some of these bottles, so you want to shake it a little bit to disperse that. And that's how you collect an E. coli sample. So now we're going to collect a blank and replicate E. coli sample. So I've filled out my labels with the same date, the same time as the regular sample, but I've just marked replicate and blank. And put that on the bottle. Better than I did. And same with the data sheets. We've got our regular sample with the date, time, and initials. The replicate, same information, marked replicate, and then the blank, same information, marked blank. And the replicate sample, it's the same exact procedure as you did with the regular sample. Walk out a little ways, invert the bottle, half foot down, and bring it back up. And you've got your replicate. And put it on ice with all your other samples. Okay, so now we have our blank E. coli sample, and it's the same thing as the other samples. You uncap it and just fill it with distilled water. Come from EnviroScience, which is a separate lab out of Ohio that we will use, and they'll send you a sampling kit, and that'll have your bottles in these little envelopes. It'll have a chain of custody form. This is what the bottles look like. They're glass vials like this. And then all you have to fill out is the sample ID. Just put the station ID information from your data sheet in that section. So for this one it'd be SWLA BAC 1501. And then the date and time. And then to fill these little bottles, we walk in a little ways at our swimming beach or boat ramp. And then hold it at the surface and catch the surface scums. And then these you only have to fill to the middle of the label. So just kind of eyeball that, it's right there, so that's good. Cap it. And put it back in your little envelope. Okay, so we're ready to ship our microcystin samples. They go to EnviroScience in Stowe, Ohio. Your sampling kit will include a prepaid shipping label. So we have our chain of custody form data sheet that we've filled out. So the things you need to fill out is the report to, that's Ann Lewis at the South Dakota Discovery Center at that address. And then leave these blank because it's the same as this address. You put in your site ID, your date, the time, check algal toxin analysis. The volume of the container is 50 milliliters, and depending on how many samples you've collected, you put that number there, and total number of containers, that number there. And we just did one today. Preservative used, we just ship on ice, so we check that. And then the toxin we want to test for is microcystin, so we write that in that box here. And then the same signing off when we send the samples off. Put your name for relinquished by, the date you ship it, and then sign as well. And then you take that chain of custody form, put it in a baggie, and get some tape. Tape it to the top of our cooler. And then we do use baggies of ice, not loose ice. So you put your ice in a baggie, put that on the bottom, put in your sample envelopes, another baggie of ice on top. Tape the cooler shut on both sides. You can do 2 rounds of tape on each one. And then you tape your shipping label to the top.